Hi, my name is Luke Kenny. My musical journey began actually with my grandparents. My granddad used to be a drummer in a jazz band in his youth. My father had his own rock and roll band in the 60s in his youth. My grandmother was a huge fan of Hindi films. So I was getting a triangular music education. And at the same time, I was also discovering the 80s pop scene, which was led, of course, in '83 by Michael Jackson. I think that's the time when the whole of India discovered international pop music. So there I was with all this influences coming in from angles, and of course I was making my own way with what I was discovering. So I've been learning about jazz, I've been learning about pop, I've been learning about hip hop, I've been learning about rap, and it's been a part of my whole journey since I discovered sound and music at an early age. I finished schooling in Thana in St. John the Baptist High School, and I had definitely decided then that if I want to pursue a career in entertainment and performance and music and whatever, I had to get out of Thana and go to a college in Bombay, in Mumbai, and walk from CST to Elphinstone College. And on this route, there was this bunch of guys who'd see me walking by every day, and that time I had hair down to my elbows. They'd see me walking by every day, and then I learned that they were also in my college as well also. So they came up to me in college, the two brothers. They said, "We have a band, would you like to be a singer for our band?" I mean, I'd never been a singer for a band at the end of the day. But I thought, okay, it's youth, you do wild and crazy things. I said, yeah, okay, let's become a part of a band. And that was the band which we called Greek. So Greek began for me as a songwriting exposure outlet, with the current band members who were there then. So we as a band, as Greek, we'd play only original music. Then whenever we'd get on stage and we say we are Greek and we're going to play only original music, all the audiences would run away. And now it's become a 360-degree turn. Now you get out there and say you're playing a cover of a band or something like that, then people say, oh man, you don't want to hear covers, play some original music. So now you have the whole gamut of Indian independent music that's playing only original music. And this was something that I wanted to do way back when. While I was with my band in college, I was also participating in all the college extracurricular activities, whether it's theatre or whether it was dance competitions and so on and so forth. On one side of me was getting up on stage and being this rock vocalist, so on and so forth. The other side of me was getting up on stage and doing, Michael Jackson impersonations or, dancing things. So in 1992, this pub in Juhu opened up called Sheetal again, which became a huge sensation. Because at that point in time, Mumbai had only discotheques. So it was at this one party that the organizers had taken over this huge circus tent in Bandra Reclamation. And for that one night, the whole big circle in the center, the big top, became the dance floor. So people would sit around on the sides, and in the center was the dance floor, and where the band plays, where the circus band plays, was where the DJ console was set up. So I was there playing up there, and I had a cordless mic. So every time I'd play a song, I'd come down, jam with the audience, jam. And it so happened, this was 1994, that Channel V had launched, and they would come around covering these parties. That was the time music channels did these kind of things. And they saw me playing there at that party, and they saw me doing my thing, jumping around, dancing, everything. So they asked me if I'd like to audition to be a VJ. I said, okay, today I'm a DJ. I got an opportunity to do something different with my music. Let's do it. At 6 in the morning, the same building, terrace, I did my audition. I did a link in English, Hindi and Marathi and so on and so forth. That tape went to Hong Kong, and everybody, really liked what they saw, and they said, oh man, here we have this guy who looks, he's got long hair, he's fair, and he looks like, a foreigner, and he can talk in Hindi, and he can talk, because he talks the local language. That's what they were looking at that point in time. So that's how the VJing thing began. I would program my own shows anyway, the shows that I would host. So little by little, it so happened that I started getting asked to program other VJs' shows as well also. Because the new VJs that would come in did not have the music background. They didn't have the knowledge, they were just pretty faces. So, and who would read a script off a teleprompter. So I would program the music for their shows. So that graduated into me handling a lot more of the programming aspects of the channel. And of course, so the natural progression was, okay, you don't want to be a VJ anymore, but we really, like your sensibilities of music and the way you put it together. Can you do it for the whole channel? So at some point in time, so that whole programming aspect began to take over about 2.5 years into me VJing. So it became a bit, but programming became the mainstay for quite a few years. So there was this one play that I was doing called Romeo and Juliet, which was directed by Vikram Kapadia. And for one of the shows, Kaizad Gustar happened to come to the show and see me perform the character that I performed. And post which he sent me the script and he asked me to be in his film called Bombay Boys. And yes, so Bombay Boys came, it came out, it became a huge success and was quite a cult hit as well also. Still, of course, cut to 10 years later, in 2008 when Abhishek Kapoor called me up asking me to meet up for a particular film that he was doing, so which I thought he wanted to do a promotion tie-up because Janvi was doing tie-ups with all the big films at that point in time. And I went to meet him and he said, okay, here are the lines, just try and audition. So I did the audition and a week later I get a call, okay, go meet Ritesh, sort your contract out, you're on the film. So that's how Rock On happened. And of course, Rock On became the success and is still the cult hit that it is. So that allowed me to do a lot more with my music, with my acting, with my wanting to make films as well. So it's been a bit of a journey in those lines as well from an acting perspective.
I have always confided in my feelings, even if I fail to foolish pride.
There's no such thing as original songwriting. You can just find a nice original melody that sounds different from whatever has been heard before. At the end of the day, you're always trying to fit your ideas into ideas that have already been explored and put out there. So if you're writing a ballad, you're not writing anything new. You're writing a ballad. A ballad has existed for the past 50 years. You're writing a punk song, you're writing a metal song, you're writing a hip-hop song. None of it is new. You're just trying to find a new melody. It's just the same 7 notes. So, but the references will always be there. You will always have a rock and roll reference, you'll always have a punk reference, so on and so forth. So that's what I try and bring out in my songs at the time when I write them. Okay, I have this melody in my head. This melody will come across really nice if I do it in a punk fashion, or if I do it in a blues fashion, or if I do it in a straight up pop fashion, or if I do it even in an EDM fashion, which is electronic dance music. So it all depends on the melody in my head that comes through at that point in time and what kind of a genre or mood it puts me into.
Even if I fail to foolish pride, I will always kneel before you. Deep inside, deep inside.
So there are days when I can probably write, maybe 3 or 4 songs in a day, and there are months go by without me writing anything. When I sit and write songs, it's all about simplicity. So if you look at some of the songs that I've done, one is called Tripwire. When you say tripwire, okay, the first picture that comes to my mind is somebody tripping over a loose wire. And when that happens very fast. So you're walking at a certain speed and suddenly a wire comes over you and you trip, boom and boom, and you fall down. So it's very fast. So that tripwire, the sound of the word also inspired a hard and a quick beat to it, which is why tripwire sounds like a punk song. So it's a 3-chord song. It's tripwire.
Tripwire, conspire, always be the head to raw desire. In and outside, I see you so blind. What can I do to make you want to free your mind?
On the other hand, if you listen to a song like The Dark Knight, now I'm also a huge consumer of pop culture. Now in the pop culture diaspora, you have comic books and graphic novels and superheroes, and we all love our superheroes. And Batman is a particular favorite of mine. So one day I was driving, I was watching the classic Batman series from the 60s, very funny and very campy. And Batman has a theme song, the Batman, it's very 60s, which again Prince reversioned for the 1990s Tim Burton Batman films. Batdance, he brought that whole element in. So that theme kept playing in my head. And through that theme, I got the riff to The Dark Knight, which is a song that I wrote. Just I
am the Dark Knight. Whoa, yeah.
And sometimes there are some issues also that I get asked to write songs for. For instance, there was this whole campaign in between, there was this issue of school children committing suicide because they were not getting the right marks. So there was this organization that came to me and said, okay, we want a song from everybody. Kailash Kher is giving one song, Parikrama is giving one song, could you write a song for us? So there's a song that I wrote called Take It Easy, which has Hindi and English lyrics about, no matter what happens in life, no matter how much pressure that you may be under as a child, as a school child, don't worry about it because it's just a passing phase. So, just take it easy. Don't, there's nothing to be tense about. So, tension na to le kabhi, himmat se kaam le, are the lyrics that Take It Easy talks about as well.
Take it easy, baby. Take it as it comes. Tension not to le kabhi, himmat se kaam le. Duniya chahe jo bhi kahe, apna tu naam kar. So take it easy, baby, and take it.
Hard Loving Woman was straight up, I wanted to write a song like Led Zeppelin. So I was listening to a lot of Led Zeppelin, and at one I was fooling around on my guitar, and then this riff came out. So I said, okay, this is a straight up Led Zeppelin song. Yes, I am ripping off all the elements that Led Zeppelin are famous for, and this is my homage to a band that I really love. So I've written a song that's a Led Zeppelin song, and if it's performed that way, it'll sound really, really powerful. So that's when I'm doing when I write songs which span the various genres of pop or rock music, the way they exist. I try and look at all these histories, and I try and see what inspires me at that point in time, and I try and put it out in a more simplistic form.
Let me tell you a little about a girl I know. She is red, red wine and knows how to flow. I met her one day all night long. Tell you about her through this simple song, yeah. Listen to me, baby. I got something to say. This is how it's gonna be. This is how it's gonna stay.
So recently, when there was a blues fest that happens every year in Mumbai at the Mehboob Studios. I know the organizer, so I asked him. I mean, if I'd really like to play the blues, and I'd like to do a blues set as well also. So they were very keen and very happy to have me on board as well. So I opened the blues festival. But before that, I did a kind of like a curtain raiser at the Blue Frog, where I took a whole section of different kinds of music, from classic blues to even current pop songs that had their roots in blues. And of course, a few original blues songs that I wrote specifically for the evening, and they're there as well, which I keep performing from time to time as well also. So I took like songs like Money for Nothing by Dire Straits, which we know as this rock riff song, but it actually is a blues riff. So I kind of brought it back to a blues structure and played it in a blues style. Songs like Kiss by Prince, which again is a blues structured pop song, brought it back to a blues funk genre as well. And in addition to that, I did the classic blues songs like Hoochie Coochie Man and Ain't Superstitious and things like that. So that also again was to create an experience and to bring to an audience a knowledge of, yes, you have the classic blues, but the blues is not just old fogey music. Over and above that, I am in the process of producing, directing and acting in my next home production. It'll be India's first zombie origin film. So that film is we're looking to release it sometime the end of this year, so that should be out by then. Over and above that, in between whatever little few hours I get, I'm trying to put together an album of original songs. So all the songs that I'm writing and I record and I perform from time to time, hopefully they'll find their way onto an album pretty soon. Whether it'll be available as a physical CD, more importantly, it'll be available on the digital space, which also is another interesting aspect that, how today's generation consumes its music has gotten to. The digital space has completely freed the artist from any kind of corporate trapping that a label might want to put onto them. So there is no, you have to go to a label, there has to be a marketing strategy, there has to be album design. No, the kids just want to hear the music. So the quicker you get the music out there to them, boom, and the digital space and the internet space has been perfect for that. But yes, it's getting very cluttered. So there needs to be some filtering, there needs to be some streamlining that will happen, which happens through various websites out there. One of them, which is a fantastic one, which is ArtistAloud.com. They have been one of the first online websites that support independent music in all its forms. Not necessarily bands or artists that sing in English, in all Indian languages as well also. In fact, when I heard about an ArtistAloud.com, one of the first things that I did was I had a song that I composed for the FIFA World Cup a year ago, a couple of years ago, and I wanted it to get out there. And apart from putting it on the social media stuff, it needed to be a little more larger than that, because the football fever was on, and I didn't want that song to, you know, to lose its momentum. So I contacted the ArtistAloud guys, and they were very open. They said, yes, send it to us quickly so we can put it up there. We can do a bit of a promotion with it online as well, and, you know, put it up for downloads and so on and so forth. So their proactiveness was quite, encouraging as well also. It's going to be a good bridge for the independent musician who wants to, you know, put his music out there via a digital platform, and that digital platform, that is ArtistAloud, which holds it all together in a absolute, how should I, streamlined and a focused manner. So I think it's a great marriage from artist to digital platform to the logical one being ArtistAloud.com. So it's great.
That's why I'm saying, stay.